all have these. We began around March 23rd, and we chose that date because most of the plants that I purchased for my grant had a 40-day germination cycle. So our target for outdoor planting and gardening was early May. So we began with Wisconsin fast plants. That's the first thing we planted. What are the Wisconsin fast plants? They're a patented variety of plant that germinates, grows, and flowers all within 40 days. This fast life cycle made them ideal to study in a classroom setting because they got to see from seed to plant rapidly. And we used it in conjunction with the plant Lighthouse, which you'll see later on in my slides. That was a light source that stayed on 24 hours a day and provided rapid growth for our plants. This is actually the inside of a plant Lighthouse. This was at 4, 7, and 10 days, and you can see from seed to plant, this was really impressive. It grew fast. On the left here, or your right, whatever, this is where the kids thinned their plants down. They had a plant quad with 4 plants. In each container, we put multiple seeds, so we had multiple growth going on. They had to thin it down to 1 plant per quad, and that bettered the chance of survival so the plants wouldn't compete for the resources. This picture over here, the kids, after they thinned, they got to pick, most of them picked their biggest plant that they thinned out. They measured it with Unifex cubes, they wrote about their findings, and it was really neat so they could see the roots, the stem, the leaves, all the parts, and that's just where they were documenting that in their journal. This was probably one of their favorite days, pollination day. Since our flowers were grown in the classroom setting, they didn't have bees to cross-pollinate and keep the life cycle going. They actually had freeze-dried bees on a stick. And over 3 to 4 days, we cross-pollinated the Wisconsin fast plants, and they just loved it. They were little beekeepers. Another thing we purchased with the grant was the Watch and Record plant labs. The students were paired with a partner. They planted green bean seeds in their plant labs. They took turns each day watering their partner. They observed the growth of their plants. They were pre-measured bags so they could see, if it's growing inch or half inch. And they used labeled parts to label their plants once they demonstrated growth. And these are some pictures of them in action. The students were working together to fill their plant labs. It had directions. It's like fill here, put soil. So they had to fill their soil. The middle picture shows the child planting the 3 bean seeds that I gave them. And the last one, they had to water their plant lab, and then they placed it in the windowsill so they could get direct sunlight. Over here is just another picture of partners on daily watering to observe the plants. And they usually gave 2 pipettes that came along with it, 2 pipettes of water each day. And once we had growth, like in this picture, they took the pre-labeled clings that came with their bags and labeled the roots, the stems, the leaves. This was an experiment we done called How Does Your Garden Grow? We experimented with light and water, and this is just some prep pictures. Over here, my little boy over here. We had 1 container that could have water but no light, and we covered it with a black cloth. We had a middle container that could have no water, and the last container could have both water and light. And this was a couple days later. We took the sleeve off. They were amazed that the one that was covered that didn't have light was growing faster than the one that could have water and light. But they did note that the plant wasn't as healthy looking. It was sort of a yellowish white color. And we did this every day. Whoever the leader was would get to water the 2, but they were dying to water the one in the middle. They couldn't stand it. It wasn't growing or getting any water. And this is just at intervals, week 1 and week 2. As you can see, the one that had been covered started growing over to the side. It was trying to grow towards a light source. And the healthy one had no growth in the middle. And ready to plant. The students have been planting many types of seeds and watching them grow in our classroom greenhouse. Most of our plants had a 30 to 40 day germination period before they were ready to be transported outdoors or transplanted outdoors. The following is a list of plants that are soon to be growing in our garden. We've been using seed stones, eco plant pals, flower garden varieties, and organic veggies. These are seed stones. They look like rocks. They've been around for over 80 years. They're used to transform or reclaim patches of land that compete with forest fire or devastation. They're usually dropped out of helicopters. In the middle, one of the children had a magnifying glass. When we first started getting growth in about a week, to look at the sprouts coming through the clay. And you can see the sprouts a little better here. And we did some experiments with our seed stones. We watered some with blue food coloring, some with regular water. We also planted some beneath the soil because these are typically dropped on top of the soil and they flourish that way. We just compared the growth that way. These are their Eco Plant Pals. Everyone got to select a plant pal based on the fun fact card that came along with their kit. It was like the plant's favorite color, and it was the color the plant was going to be, different facts like that. They got a germination disc, and they had to measure water, combine with their disc to make a soil mixture. And they got to choose from the following types of varieties. They had Rainbow Ritas, Brian the Brain, Aloe Allen, Larla Bella, and Polka Dot Patty. And my assistant's name's Rita, so everybody wanted their Rainbow Ritas. Okay, planting our flower garden. I showed the children pictures of zinnias, petunias, and evening stars. They got to pick their favorite because this is going to be their Mother's Day gift to plant for their mom. They once again got a germination disc. They made their soil mixture. They planted their plants and labeled what type it was. They put in a germination bag, which is up there, and we put it in our plant greenhouse that's located in the classroom. You'll get to see that here in a minute. Organic veggies, this is one of their favorites. They got to select either green beans, tomatoes, or peppers. They incorporated measurement by tracking the growth of their plant each week. And the students found that our green bean plants grew a lot faster than our peppers. And we also had tomatoes here. The peppers barely sprouted. This was about a week and a half into it. You can see the green bean just flourished. Tomato, we have no pepper because we didn't have growth at that time. And this is just writing about their veggies. They measured their veggies with their Unifex cubes, and we did that once a week so we could compare the growth, how the plant was growing. This is the greenhouse that's located in my classroom. It's the temporary home for all of our plants before we transplant them outdoors to the garden that we're hoping to do in May. This is the Lighthouse I referred to at the beginning. It's a 24-hour light source that helps accelerate plant growth, and I highly recommend this. This has been amazing. And we also have caterpillars. Since we have all these flowers, we thought butterflies would be a good idea. We've got a butterfly nursery. The caterpillars arrived about 2 weeks ago. It's amazing the change. Some of them are already starting to attach to the top. But they can't wait to see the growth and change each day when they come in the classroom. And this is our future garden site. Hopefully in May we will have a flower and a vegetable garden growing outside. So, I hope.